this is Khan. No, I'm not going to do the Khan scream. If you want to see how Khan lived, you can watch Khan, Star Trek Khan. We know how he died and how he was born, but what about how he lived? It could be kind of important. They used to say, sometimes having the answer is not as fun as having the question. In this case, I'd say having the answer is kind of fun. This was written pretty good, actually. Is this better than the Star Trek we've been getting recently in Star Trek Strange New Worlds? Yes. In fact, as I watched this, I found myself empathizing with Khan somehow. I was going on a little bit of an adventure. After a little while, I was starting to say, hey, this Khan guy, maybe he ain't so bad. And then I snap back to reality and remember who we're talking about. But it's not written, so unthoughtfully. You see, this is written as if Star Trek Khan, the show, is a story about a character who is like a whole person, right? No one's just wholly evil, are they? And Khan in this, to cut it short, is just when they say something evil, they say something good, right? They keep you guessing. It's a sign of good writing. It's a sign of complexity. It's a sign of looking at things from two different points of view, which is usually what they don't do too much in New Trek as a whole. If we're talking about Strange New Worlds, yes, I did not like season 3 of Strange New Worlds very much, but these 2 episodes of Star Trek Khan, Paradise and Scheherazade, I like them. We're planting the seeds of hell into the body of paradise, as it were. Ceti Alpha V, Ceti Alpha 6. Is there a difference? We had George Takei. We had Tim Russ, Tuvok, and obviously Sulu. And it felt like it's been too long since I seen her, the Excelsior, right? And I saw the Excelsior. What? I thought Star Trek Khan had no visuals. That's where you're wrong, kiddo. The special effects budget for Star Trek Khan is infinitely high because it's in your mind. It's in your mind. And I was shocked at the visual splendor of the whole thing as I just kind of shut my eyes and went on this quest with them. And we went to that planet and we saw these ships and we had all kinds of action and adventure, romance even. And I must say, I was along for the ride. Star Trek Khan, my first 2 episodes, double feature if you can call this a review, I really did enjoy them. And this time, they're free. Yeah, on YouTube. Why aren't you watching them? You. This is your job. You need to go watch them now. Easy to watch. I say watch, but you really listen. And if I'm honest, I had this playing while I was just sitting there. And moments made me smile, they made me intrigued, they made me think, and I kept looking at the screen, expecting something to be there, but there was nothing there. And I realize now how way back in the day, people used to look at the radio. Remember that? A long time ago, people would listen to the radio, and I was wondering, why do we always look at the radio? Why are we looking at it? Maybe that's why. You just want a little bit more. And I do want that next episode, whenever it comes. That being Monday, I believe. Strange schedule every Monday. Another thing that's weird about this is that we can see the views straight up. We're not hiding anything. How it works in these streaming platforms like Paramount Plus and the like is that you don't really know who's watching what and at what level. In fact, I believe I saw a diagram showing that Strange New World Season 3 in its finale episode was not trending in the top 10 on Paramount Plus during its finale on its home platform. That's a little bit scuzzy, but they're showing you the numbers for this. On last I checked, the first episode was at 70,000 views. Is that good? You tell me. I don't know. What should the numbers be for something like this? What should the numbers be for an audio-only Star Trek program? I don't know. But by the end of this, I was thinking, I think we're going to start something here. I think this is different. I think this is new. I think something's going to happen here. I think people are going to be saying, wow, let's just do some audio. I think people are going to be saying, you know what? We could do some more audio shows. If we can't afford the visuals, we could get a pretty good story with the audio. And we did somehow. And I listened to the credits, and they said Kirsten Beyer, and they said all these usual suspects that we associate with New Trek, Strange New Worlds specifically. But I noticed the name David Mack. Star Trek books behind me. I think I have some David Mack back there. Yeah, right there. Seekers, Star Trek Seekers. That was cool. Anyway, the point of the matter is, why does it sound so good? Why is it written so well? Why is it so intriguing? Is it David Mack? I don't know. It says written by Kirsten Beyer and David Mack. I don't know how these credits all work. I don't want to cast aspersions where it's not due, and I'll let that be up to you. You have a lot of homework to do. You got to go watch Star Trek Con, the first 2 episodes, and then you got to figure out why it's written so well. There's your little homework for you, okay? You have no excuse. This one's on you, okay? Yeah, and it is remarkable that it's essentially free. I don't know how the funding structure works out here. How do they make money off of, YouTube? Does YouTube pay for this, or do YouTube ads pay for this? I'm not going to pretend to understand the inner workings of it. I'm not going to sell you a false bill of goods and say that I have secret knowledge, or I know a leaker. I do not. I'm just me, and from what I can tell you is that Star Trek Con is winning on these first 2 episodes. First episode was a little better than the second one. I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say it involves a character from TOS, McGivers, who left with Khan in the episode The Space Seed. You should know that. However, what you don't know is that we're going back to the remnants of Khan's encampment on this world, Ceti Alpha V, to dig up recordings, archival recordings. And this character that we just mentioned was actually a historian of sorts, you see. And we're learning about the life that Khan led on this planet following Space Seed, and so far before the Wrath of Khan, right? We do have George Takei, Captain Excelsior. Cool. We do have old Ensign Tuvok, who you're going to enjoy. And our new character, Lear, I believe her name was, the person who's trying to dig up these records. And it is rife with yummy, scrumptious TOS sounds when they activate the little devices left behind by Khan that he took from the Enterprise. Chef's kiss. I could hear them, but I could also see them. Because like I said, the effects budget, sky high, because it's in your mind. That's Khan. I'm not going to tell you much more because you have to go watch it. I'm putting the onus on you. We're going to pounce. We're going to get what we want, and that's Khan. And I'm Lieutenant Mark, and I'm going to see you in, I don't know, a week, if you come back for my next rundown on what's going on with Khan. And I'm going to tell you the gist of things, but we're not going to give you every little single detail because you need to go watch it. And we got to get these videos out fast. We're looking at quick videos here, personal, intense, in your face, putting you on the spot, onus on you. That's Khan. I'm Mark. See you next time.